What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Speak Up Sports Podcast with Cass, Chris, and Shaw. What's going on, fellas?
What's good, y'all?
Getting closer and closer, man. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yes, sir.
That's for sure. We are getting closer and closer. I mean, shit. What we just got kind of a little tease with college football getting its start this past weekend. I mean, what a win with Georgia Tech, having the first big upset over number 10 Florida State. After all the offseason of shit talking that they had, and following kind of the controversy that ended with their season and not make the playoffs and stuff like that. So, we if that's the start to how football and this season's gonna be all around and shit. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but
nobody's safe.
Yeah, nobody's safe at all. And I mean, we gonna see we really gonna see who's safe when we get into these playoffs. We obviously went through over the past couple weeks who was gonna make it and win the division. In the AFC and in the NFC, and going through our division rankings. Today, we'll officially go through our playoff seeding, round by round, who's going to win, and obviously the Super Bowl winner, and kind of end off with awards, just like last year. We're going to see how interesting it got. Last year, I had I expected a cornerback to be Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's see if I run it back this year. What's up? What's up, Chris? What's up, Chris? Speak up.
I don't know about all that, man. I don't know about all that, but
we can go ahead and start with the playoffs, and go ahead and kick it off with the AFC. You can start it off 1 through 7, 7 through 1, however you want to do it. Let's see what you got, Chris.
All right, so for my AFC, I'm gonna go 1 through 7. I got the Ravens winning the conference as a number 1 overall. I actually have the Jets number 2. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a big year. Maybe award winner. We'll see.
Hold on. You said the Ravens winning the conference, so that's gonna be your Super Bowl. Is that?
I meant.
Okay.
But
I thought you was trying to give us a tease a little early, man.
And then the 3, I got the Chiefs, and then I got the Texans at 4, and then for the 5th seed, I do have the Bengals. I mean, my bad, the Bills. I have the Bengals at the 6, and I was contemplating on this. It was between 2 teams, but I got the Colts making it into the playoffs. It was between y'all and Miami, so Miami didn't make it.
Okay, that was your first. So Miami was your first out.
Yes, Miami was my first out.
So that's a few teams. The Steelers, your boy Russ. He was officially named the starter today.
That ain't good.
The Jags. Okay, I like that. What's up, Cass? What you got?
All right. So making the playoffs, I'll start with Chiefs. 1 seed, I got them finishing 13 and 4. Let's see, 2 seed, I got the Ravens at 12 and 5. 3 seed, I got the Texans at 10 and 7. 4 seed, Dolphins also at 10 and 7.
Okay.
5 seed, I got the Bengals at 11 and 6. 6 seed, I got the Jets at 10 and 7.
Okay.
And then 7 seed, I got the Bills at 9 and 8. My first out was the Colts, also 9 and 8.
6 teams winning 10 games plus games. I don't know about that, but we shall see. Okay, I like that with the Bills and the Colts the first out. Bills going 7 is tough. Okay.
Yeah. That was a tough part, but I was trying to figure out like which division, because I only got like from 2 divisions, I only got one team making the playoffs, and that's the Texans, and of course the Chiefs. I do expect with all the 10 and 7s, it might be like you said, it is kind of a stretch. Everybody like 16s making above 10 wins, but at the same time, I don't think it's gonna be too many 9 and 8 teams in the playoffs either. So we'll see.
Okay, so for my 1 seed, I have the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen. For my 2 seed, I got the Ravens, taking a slight step back, but making it to the 2 seed. For the 3 seed, I've got the Chiefs, rounding out in the 3 seed. For my 4 seed, I got the Colts. For my 5th seed, I've got. Now this is where it got a little tough when it starts getting to the wild card. So I thought about switching some stuff up, but I ended up sticking with what I had. So at the 5th seed, I had the Jags and Trevor Lawrence making it into the playoffs. With my 6th seed, I had the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers making a reappearance into the playoffs for the AFC. And rounding it out, I have Houston sneaking in over the Dolphins and the Bengals, which I actually don't think the Bengals are going to probably not be that close, but Dolphins probably my first out.
All right. I like it, though. I mean, it's way different from mine, but it's interesting, though. I'm surprised that you got 3 AFC South ones in there. I'm very surprised at that, actually.
I had 3 AFC South teams. The Bengals, well, first of all, the Bengals, I mean, it hasn't been sounding good for the entire offseason for them, aside from Joe Burrow being healthy. I mean, T. Higgins requested a contract, didn't get it. He's back, but I mean, he's playing on the franchise tag. Obviously, we see the Jamar Chase. He practiced yesterday. Now he's not practicing, and it's back and forth, and they're saying he's not going to get paid. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson wasn't. There wasn't anything there as well. Also, something that I found kind of interesting, it's not something to put a whole lot of stock in the preseason and stuff like that. But, for an offense like the Bengals, they had two joint practices with both the Colts and I want to say the Bears. The offense looked bad against both. There was a couple highlights that went viral, but I don't think Joe Burrow scored a single touchdown against either team. I could be wrong on that, but I know for a fact he didn't score a single touchdown against the Colts, which is saying something because the Colts have, if the Colts have any type of deficiency on their team, it's the defensive back end. So that's something interesting to watch. And there's also been some stuff about Joe Burrow and his wrist still, and is he fully healthy? I'm not 100% sure. So that was that. Yeah, it's not looking good in Cincinnati. It's not sounding good, at least right now. Seems like a dark cloud's hanging over them. Because what's going to happen next year? Is T. Higgins going to be gone? Is Chase going to be gone possibly?
It is looking a little bleak over there, but I don't know. I believe in Joe Burrow, which you'll see in a few minutes. So we'll see.
Okay. So let's hop into the NFC. What you got, Chris?
The team that I got finishing number 1, I have the Detroit Lions. I think they continue from what they did last year, and I think they're just going to build on that, and they ready to go for it all. 2 seed, I do have the Eagles. 3 seeds, I have the Niners taking a step back, but I have them getting a 3 seed, and then rounding off for the division win, obviously I have the Falcons, and I picked them to win the division last week. And then for my 5th seed, I have Green Bay. And then I have the Rams. And then coming in 7th, the last seed, I have the Cowboys.
Oh, you ain't believe in Caleb, bro?
No, he's not making the playoffs. Sorry.
Damn, not Seattle, man.
Nope. Remember, I had them finish last in their division, so they was never going to make it, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Okay. No Bears. That's interesting. I know you're
very
cool.
We're going to see. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, Kev.
All right. Here's my 17s in the NFC. 1 seed, I got the Lions, 12-5. 2 seed, I got the Falcons, 11-6. 3 seed, Niners, 10-7. 4 seed, Eagles, also 10-7. 5 seed, Rams, also 10-7, but lost the tiebreaker to the 49ers. 6 seed, Cowboys at 9-8. 7 seed, I got the Bears at 8-9.
Oh, no Jordan Love? You ain't on that Jordan Love?
I think the Packers take a step back.
Man.
I do.
Man, got 13 teams with 9 wins or more. I don't know about that.
We're going to see.
But I like that. We're going to see. All right. I see you tried to sneak the Falcons there at the 2 seed.
I was I was looking at the schedule.
I was much maligned on my Panthers pick, but now we're hearing a team is jumping from out the playoffs back to back years to 2 seed. Okay, we're gonna see.
If the Panthers can jump 7 wins, we can jump 4. I can say that. I can say
How about
that.
that? But we gonna see.
All right,
What
yeah.
were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No. What was I gonna say? I was looking at the schedule though, and really, I think it's a really favorable schedule, timing wise, days off, where the bye week is. I really think that plays into our favor for getting double digit wins this year for real. But again, we'll see.
We shall see. We shall see. So with the NFC, starting off, I have the Eagles as the 1 seed. Um, I was really in doubt with them, but I think it's going to be a close division overall, and they're just too talented to not. I got the Packers at the 2 seed. For the 3 seed, I have the Rams. With the 4 seed, obviously the Panthers rounding out there. For the division winners. At 5, I have the 49ers and Brock Purdy, who also kind of sounds like they're having a little similar situation with the Bengals, as the Bengals, I mean. So I kind of want to reserve my right to change that. But
Look,
anyway,
it is getting a little murky over there.
it's too much back and forth. But at 6, I have the Lions. And then 7, this was tough. My first out was Tampa Bay, but I went with Seattle. I think we get 3 teams from the NFC West. I think Seattle is just too talented, top to bottom, to just continue. Even with and Geno played well in last year, more so than people want to give him credit for. So I'm sticking with Seattle. Hopefully their offensive line gets better, but I think it makes for some pretty interesting playoff matchups as we get into it. So. Chris, I'll go ahead and let you start. Who you got in your wild card round? Just do the whole weekend.
Okay, well, we were just talking NFC, so I have actually two our divisional opponents. So you have the Eagles versus the Cowboys, and then you got the 49ers versus the Rams. I'm obviously going to go with the Eagles over Cowboys, but I actually have the Rams beating the 49ers in the wild card.
What about your third?
And then my third one is the Falcons versus Green Bay, and I got Green Bay.
Okay. And then in AFC
versus your Colts, it's gonna be a hard fought game, but they're just gonna come on top against y'all.
That's almost how I had it too. I ain't gonna lie.
And then I have the Chiefs versus the Bengals. Now this game was interesting to me because just the mantra of Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. I got Joe Burrow edging him out. I still believe in Joe Burrow. I think he's just gonna make it happen. No particular reason. I just think he is. And then I have Texans versus Bills. Even though the Texans are home, I do have the Bills winning that.
What say you, Cass? What's your wild card weekend looking like?
Pretty interesting. I'll start with the NFC. So the 3 games were Falcons versus Bears. I got the Falcons winning that one. 49ers, Cowboys. I almost picked the Cowboys, but I'm going to go 49ers to win that one as well. And then Eagles, Rams. I got the Rams winning that one. And, of course, the Lions had to bye. In the AFC, Ravens, Bills, which I think is going to be a great game for a wild card round. I got the Ravens winning that one. I got Texans versus Jets, and I got the Jets winning that one as the 6th seed. Mm-hmm. And then Dolphins versus Bengals, I got Bengals winning. So, yeah.
Okay. Some interesting matchups
it is
there.
Look, I love the matches. I love the matches in the AFC, especially for me, Texans. I'm really ready to see what the Jets do this year.
I think we got some interesting matchups across the board, but I did also have some divisional matchups pretty much all throughout the playoffs. But following suit and starting in the NFC side, I started off with the Packers versus Seattle. And I have Packers edging it out in that game. I had a rematch of what will be our first Sunday night game, as well as a playoff game from last year, which is Rams versus Lions, which I think the Rams get it this time, and taking the Lions out in the wild card round. And then finally, the Panthers versus the Niners. Panthers happy to get in. Niners edge them out easily. For the wild card in the AFC, I've got the Ravens versus the Texans in another rematch of the playoffs from last year. Same result. Quick Ravens win in that one. to go back to the earlier point about the Texans making the playoffs, I don't think the Texans have enough depth, and I think that that's going to come back to bite them. And they have they have one strong position group, which is the receivers. The cornerbacks outside of Stingley is a question mark. Safeties is kind of a question mark. They obviously have two strong edge rushers, but the rest of their team, especially with the Nico Autry out and Christian Harris out to start the season, so I think they kind of limp into the playoffs, and that's why I have the Ravens edging them out. This is probably my favorite matchup, and also why I was kind of hesitant with the seeding. But Chiefs versus Jets, Jets in the 6 seed, Chiefs in the 3 seed. Obviously, it's our first Aaron Rodgers. I can't remember. I don't recall if they're playing this season, but it's our first Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes matchup in the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers edges him out to stop the three-peat hopes.
You got the Jets beating the Chiefs? Okay.
Colts versus Jaguars. I have the Colts exercising some demons versus the Jaguars and getting that win. But getting it, so that leaves my matchups in the conference round for Bills versus Jets. Another, like I said, a division game. Colts, Ravens, and then Eagles, Niners, Packers, Rams.
Bills, Jets, Colts, Ravens, Eagles, Niners. Okay.
Let's go ahead and get into it, Chris.
So
we're about to go
you
with
just ended off with the AFC. I also have in my matchups for the conference or the next round is both matchups in the AFC are divisional opponents. So it is the Bills versus Jets, and it's the Ravens versus the Bengals. And I have the Ravens beating the Bengals, and I have the Bills beating the Jets.
Interesting.
And then for my NFC side, it'll be a rematch from earlier in the year, Eagles versus Green Bay, and then it'll be also Lions versus Rams. I have the Eagles winning, and I have the Lions winning.
Okay. You said you have the Eagles and Lions. Okay, so Eagles, Lions, NFC Championship.
And Ravens and
Bills, Ravens, AFC Championship. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. What's up, Cass?
AFC, I got Chiefs versus Jets. So same kind of matchup, just a round later than you. But I got the Chiefs winning that at home. And then I got Ravens, Bengals, and I got the Bengals winning that one. So my conference in the AFC is Chiefs versus Bengals. NFC, I got Lions versus Rams, which I think one of y'all had that matchup too, maybe, or maybe not. But
I had Lions versus Rams.
Yeah. I got the Rams beating the Lions. Okay. And then Falcons 49ers, I got the 49ers winning that one. So my NFC conference championship is Rams versus 49ers, with the Rams being on the road.
Okay.
So
okay.
We'll see.
So
be shocked with the Falcons.
Falcons won't
go
make
ahead.
The playoffs, guys. It's okay. But anyway, we'll get into this. The conference round. I've got the Bills versus Jets. Similar to Chris. I have the Bills edging it out in that game as well. Possibly sending Aaron Rodgers into retirement. I got the Colts versus the Ravens. I think the Ravens blow them out in that game. I said conference. This is divisional round, really. But on the NFC side, I've got the Eagles versus the Niners in a rematch. 3 years in a row, basically. Obviously, they didn't play in the playoffs last year, but the playoff game and then the in-season game with the Niners getting it again this time. And then, but I think it's going to be a tough, close game, but I just had the Niners edging them out. And then Packers versus Rams. I got the Rams winning that one pretty easily, which leaves my championship round to also be Bills versus Ravens, and then Rams versus Niners. So divisional game there. But who you guys got representing both sides in the Super Bowl?
All right, for the AFC, man, Ravens versus the Bills. I got the Ravens edging it out. And
Ravens going to the Super Bowl.
Yep, going to the Super Bowl, man. Lamar gonna put him on his back, and he gonna get it done.
Okay.
Then for the NFC, edging the Eagles out in overtime.
Okay.
OT. Okay.
Mm-hmm. OT. They at home, so I think they'll bring it. So I think they'll edge us out.
Ravens versus Lions. Super
Ravens
Bowl.
versus Lions.
What everybody thought it was gonna be last year, huh?
Yeah, honestly. Okay. All right. So AFC, I got Chiefs versus Bengals. Honestly, I was going back and forth on this too, but I got the Chiefs winning again. I got the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl 30 straight year. NFC, Rams, 49ers. I got the Rams winning that one. So my Super Bowl matchup is Chiefs versus Rams.
Okay. Well, interesting. Mine is like I said, I also had the Bills versus Ravens, but I'm going the opposite way. I'm going with the Bills this time. Bills represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and then the Rams versus the 49ers. One of these teams will see another Super Bowl. I had the Rams edging the 49ers out in defeat, and Matthew Stafford getting to a second Super Bowl, and also possibly being his last game of his career.
That's what I think too.
And so my Super Bowl matchup is Bills versus Rams, and I got my Super Bowl MVP and my MVP are the same, so that can kind of lead us into the awards as well. But I've got the Bills winning it out, and Josh Allen finally coming addition by subtraction, and Josh Allen finally proven to everybody that believes who he is, what he is, and making this conversation a lot more interesting next year. What say you, Chris?
MVP?
So Super Bowl got the Ravens versus the Lions, and I went with the Lions, man. The Lions gonna get their first Super Bowl, and he is going to be. He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna go nuts. He's gonna get it done.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. I got Chiefs versus Rams. I got the Rams. I got the Rams beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I got Matt Stafford getting that MVP, Super Bowl MVP, riding off into the sunset. I think we're on the same page, Shot. I think it's setting up to be. Like, if they have a good run this year, I don't see why you would come back if you're Matt Stafford. I mean, it is like you accomplished, could be. So, but yeah, I got Matt Stafford riding off in the sunset with his second Super Bowl, and then definitely a Hall of Famer after that. No doubt about it.
If any of these teams that we have, the Bills, Lions, and Rams, because like I said, it changes the conversation for obviously Josh Allen in terms of where he fits in the quarterback conversation. Kind of like I said about Lamar Jackson last year, kind of similar thinking. If he wins, well, Lamar obviously was going to get a second MVP and possibly a Super Bowl. So that makes it a little bit different. But if he gets his first MVP as well as a Super Bowl MVP, that changes everything for him. I mean, Jared Goff winning a Super Bowl in Detroit after the Matthew Stafford trade, making his second Super Bowl, that changes a lot for him. Does he become, I mean, you kind of have to start putting him in those conversations of being a Hall of Famer.
Honestly, two
Super Bowl appearances, making the playoffs, damn near every year except for a couple years. And then Matthew Stafford, obviously, like you said, 2 Super Bowls, coming to a new team in a better situation, winning 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, and then riding out with Super Bowl MVP. And then they already love Stafford, so, that's already going. Niggas gonna start talking crazy. He's better than Aaron Rodgers. But before we get into the awards, I want to talk to y'all about it because, we had the ESPN article drop about the player polls, and they started going into who tossed the most trash, best player, overrated, blah, blah, blah. But I want to hear y'all's opinion on how they rank Josh Allen the most overrated quarterback. What do y'all think about that? Or the most overrated player?
It's the tough part about it is, like, it's such a premium on the quarterback position in itself. All of this shit is really overrated if you really think about it, if you're not Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. So that's the thing. It's like if Josh Allen is overrated, who is over him? You know what I mean? Like who are you putting? Who? You know, because obviously it's not Patrick Mahomes. The way everybody's saying right now is that he's the second or third best player in the league. I'm quarterback in the league, I should say. Is that not right? I think it's. I mean, like I don't see how he's overrated when like who are you putting above him? and give me a solid reason. You can say Lamar. MVP. I get that.
Lamar is the only person aside
I get
from
that.
Pat, in my opinion.
So I think honestly, Josh Allen is properly rated. I think he's getting the hype that he deserves for his talent. He just got to put it all together. But again, he's young still. Like, you know, that we still told, like, we talked about this too on a few podcasts ago.
Yeah, it's just a product of this win a Super Bowl. You're not good if you don't win a Super Bowl. So I guess only Patrick Mahomes is good. But then they want to give folks credit for making the Super Bowl. Like, they want to get I don't understand the giving the Joe Burrow credit for losing the Super Bowl, like that all of a sudden makes you. But Jalen Hurts doesn't get nobody. Like people aren't saying
exactly. Jalen Hurts don't touch that. He don't touch that level of Joe Burrow for the same.
He played better than Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. He had a better Super Bowl game than Joe Burrow's ever had a playoff game. You know, so I mean, Brock Purdy. But people want to say Brock Purdy's not top 10. I keep thinking about that because everybody keeps saying Brock Purdy is like a system quarterback, blah, blah, blah. It's the Kyle Shanahan system. But why don't we say that about anybody? Why didn't we say that about C.J. Stroud? Because C.J. Stroud's in the exact same system, basically, or a similar one. You know, why aren't we saying that about like Stafford, you know, who's in a similar one? All these guys run variations of the Shanahan offense. So, like, why are they also like system? Is Patrick Mahomes a system quarterback for being with Andy Reid? Why don't we ask those questions?
It doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't.
I mean, I guess those questions ever? For the Brock Purdy thing, it's probably more so the fact that, you know, they literally just had, you know, Jimmy G in that same position. You know, he took it to the Super Bowl. Now, mind you, obviously Brock Purdy has played way better than Jimmy G, but it's just like all you did was switch quarterbacks and you still in the same position because you got the weapons around you. But I mean, that's just people talking because I mean, you can't hide. I mean, like everybody has to have weapons. Like not everybody can play with, you know, subpar people and actually do. It's not everybody can't do that. So yes, you need weapons. That's I mean, that's what makes a team.
Who's done this? Who's won with just subpar weapons? I don't know. Especially in this day and age, I don't know.
It's tough. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it. So, I mean, hey. I mean, I guess people want to say the Chiefs last year.
I mean, but they had Travis Kelce. Like, come on. If you took Travis Kelce off that team, you think, like...
And it came down to the 49ers muffin apart. But, I mean, hey. All right, cool. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the awards. So, you know, I already, you know, opened that up and said that I had Josh Allen winning my MVP. You know, with the Bills having a good season, I think he kind of similar to how like we saw Patrick Mahomes go for him. Obviously, I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I don't want people to say that I'm overrated. But you know, similar to how Pat went from, you know, having the Tyreek Hill and all that, and then kind of having a play a different style. I think Josh Allen will benefit from that as well. So addition by subtraction, I think Stephon Diggs. We're gonna see with him in Houston. I'm just saying. But anyway, so who do you guys have for MVP?
Who you got, Chris?
Yeah, I think just for that same reason you said, without Stephon Diggs, for him to be able to, you know, carry. Now, I ain't gonna say carry the team, but I mean we don't know his weapons like that. We don't know exactly how they're gonna look as a team. But for him to be able to take that team, even without, you know, supposedly one of the best receivers in the league, take them to the playoffs, make it as far as they made it, like I think that's gonna. I mean, Stephon Diggs, come on now, you know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna have a monster season, even without winning the division. I think he's still gonna have a monster season.
That's the reason why I didn't have Josh Allen. I think he's gonna have a monster season as well, but I didn't have him win the division, and I think that's going to come into play. I don't think his team will be good enough. I had him in as a 7 seed, so I wanted to put Josh, but I think this year I also wanted to put Joe Burrow like last year, trying to redeem myself. But I think this year Patrick Mahomes is going to win MVP. I think it kind of loops around to the point where it's like, all right, now It's time for him to get another one. Let's stack him up because let's stop playing around with him. Like he's not the best player. So I got Pat Mahomes.
Okay, so I'll go next. I'll go ahead and go to the offensive player. Well, I'll start with the rookies. Offensive rookie of the year. I'm interested to hear who you guys have because I'm popular opinion is probably gonna go opposite, but I actually have Malik Neighbors. I think being in New York, obviously he's gonna get a lot of buzz, similar to how Odell did breaking out. I think they're gonna force feed him, and I honestly think Daniel Jones aside, I think that receiving core is a little better than people think. They're young, but Wanda Robinson I think is going to be good. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to be good as a deep threat, and then Malik makes just everything work. So I do think that they're going to be better, and I think he's going to be putting up numbers, maybe similar to Puka. So I'm going Malik Neighbors from Offensive Rookie of the Year.
For my offensive rookie of the year, I went with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think him and Kyle are gonna click off rip, and I think just like you said with Malik Neighbors, I think they're gonna force feed him, and I'm looking for Kyler to get back to what he used to do, and with the threat of him running, that's gonna open things up for him to be able to throw it to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
I'm with your mindset, Chris. I want Marvin Harrison Jr. to win it. If I'm guessing who will actually win it, I think it's going to be Caleb Williams, and I think we all know why.
Yeah,
I want Marvin Harrison to win it. Don't get me wrong. I gotta make that very clear. But politics, how this shit goes, and I think Caleb Williams has this shit in the bag already. To be honest with you, unless he just like really goes out and just shits the bed. But I had the Bears in the playoffs, so I'm going to go Caleb Williams winning Rookie of the Year.
So sliding over to the Defensive Rookie of the Year, both of my Rookie of the Years might have looked different at the beginning of training camp, but some things have happened since then. My original Rookie of the Year was probably going to be J.J. McCarthy. I'm not going to lie to you. And for the same reason, that team I don't think is going to be good. So I was going to have Dallas Turner, but I'm going to go with Liatu Latu. 4 of the last 5 winners have been edge rushers. The Colts are, unless they have injuries on that D line, they're probably going to be top 3 in sacks in this league. I'm telling you guys, and I think he's going to benefit a lot from it. I think he has a season similar to, obviously, Samson Ebukam getting hurt kind of puts him in pole position where he gets a lot more snaps. And I think he has a season similar to how Nick Bosa had, 9.5 sacks. I think is easily attainable for him. That would really take up what Samson Ebukam had. So I'm going with Liatu Latu winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. What say you, Chris?
All right, for my Defensive Rookie of the Year, I went with Jared Verse. They have a young emerging D line as a whole, and so I believe with that being said, that opens up room for him to make some plays. And like you said, Shy, I mean that award is going to go to an edge rusher. It's hard for a DB, a linebacker, anything like that to actually win it. So it has to go to.
I like how you slid that in there.
Yeah, man.
I got Latu as well for my defensive player of the year. Again, we all on the same page with this edge rusher thing.
Rookie of the Year.
Defensive, well, not
he
sorry.
could be defensive player of the year too.
No.
That nigga win defensive player of the year. It's over for y'all, boy. I'm telling you.
No. Yeah, defensive rookie of the year. Sorry, yeah. I got Latu. I wanted to pick a player like Dallas Turner or even Byron Murphy, but I feel like Latu's about to go crazy. And I've been following him. He's hanging out with the right people. He attended, the pass rush camp with Max, and all the other, good pass rushers in the league. Like he's on the right track. And I think this year is set up for him to be successful. So we'll see.
We shall. But moving to next, this one I'm interested because I feel like there's a lot of candidates. There's been a lot of candidates for any of them, but I feel like this one is a little bit more interesting than last year because last year we thought it was going to be Damar Hamlin, but comeback player of the year. We had a lot of quarterback injuries last year, just a lot of injuries in general. You know how it is in the NFL. So I'm to start off. The last 6 winners have all been quarterbacks. for comeback player of the year. So I am also sticking with a quarterback. It was tough between came down to Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson, and Joe Burrow for me. Like I said, I don't trust anything that's going on in Cincinnati right now. And I just think that Aaron Rodgers, number one, being in New York, and just being who he is, I mean, I think he's going to go crazy. So I went with Aaron Rodgers going for my comeback player of the year.
That's a good pick.
I mean, same thing. I mean, I for me it was between Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, but like you said, it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he didn't even play a game last year. He played 3 plays, so as long as he don't get injured and don't look like shit, he probably gonna win it. So yeah, I went ahead and went with Aaron Rodgers.
We're all the same on this one. I think it's another one where it's that award is gonna be Aaron's to lose, in my opinion. Again, like y'all, like I was between him, Joe, and Kirk, and I just think the buzz around it's Aaron Rodgers. So I just think he's just gonna pull it out. I think he has a good season this year. I can't wait to see what he does. It's a lot of buzz around New York, of course, always, but especially around the Jets. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, rounding out to our last two, the Offensive Player of the Year, the non-quarterback award, and the Defensive Player of the Year. So my Offensive Player of the Year was tough as well because last 5 winners have been 3 of them have been receivers, 2 of them have been running backs, and the receivers is so tough because it's like any of them can explode at any point. Like Justin Jefferson, we say JJ McCarthy's not there, and people are down, Sam Darnold, and then he can go eat. Obviously we see what Tyreek Hill continues to do every year. So I mean, it's just so many guys at the receiver position. But I mean, I've been talking about it all off season. I went with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I think he is gonna. I mean, last time that he had a quarterback that even had a threat of rushing, he had 2,000 total yards and 20 touchdowns. I mean, I think the Colts, Zach Moss was like the 3rd leading rusher in the first 6 weeks with Anthony Richardson. I just think he's just going to go. I mean, there's not really a true backup right now. I think he's going to go crazy. And then he was heating up towards the end of the season. Last game of the season, he had 188 rushing yards against the Texans. I mean, so I think he's going to come in hot. And I went with Jonathan Taylor.
Here, might be a shocker, surprise to y'all, but I went with CD Lamb.
That was another.
I mean,
backup
in Dallas, as far as the offense, they don't have no other weapons, and like I mean, call it what it is. He a beast. I mean, even with him being the only weapon, they're going to force feed him. He's going to get open. He's going to get the ball. He's going to make plays, and I think that's for them to be any kind of good this year. It's got to be him and Dak. So I got CD Lamb.
Yeah, CD was one of mine. None of the teams that I feel like have some bad noise or anything around them, I haven't picked them. None of the playoffs.
Bad.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Bad juju.
Typically, when there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, I'm just saying. So, and the Cowboys been brewing for a while, so that's why I didn't go with CD.
That's fair. I like the CD one a lot, Chris. Mine came down to Tyreek Hill, Bijan Robinson, and Garrett Wilson. And I went with Garrett Wilson. I think he has a monster year with Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make it a point to feature him in that offense, and I think he can put up some crazy numbers this year. It was supposed to happen last year, but we know what happened. So I got Garrett Wilson. I got Garrett Wilson doing the thing this year, of course, and he's going to end up being the highest paid receiver in the league probably next year. So going into next season. So yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
And then ending off my defensive player of the year. This one was kind of tough too because same thing, kind of an edge rush, and Aaron Donald basically award. But I actually think this is kind of like a just due year, and he finally gets one. The guy kind of replacing Aaron Donald, Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones puts together a complete season. Obviously, the Chiefs, he didn't start off what it was like the first game or maybe first 2 games last year. And I don't know I think the Chiefs will take a step back defensively. but I do think that he'll be the one to kind of hold it all together, and ultimately he ends up being the defensive player of the year.
With an edge rusher, I went with Max Crosby. I just think, usually, like you said, it's always the same old names. You got Myles Garrett, Michael Parsons, but I really think Max Crosby now, he's a household name now. And I think with his motor, he's always playing no matter what's going on, no matter how hurt he is. I think he's gonna have a monster year. He's gonna be really like I'm him. So
I have Max Crosby too, so that's one that you picked him. I think he's gonna have a monster year. I think the addition of Christian Wilkins does nothing but help him. I think they feast on that defensive line. Yeah, I got Max, and he I think he gets at least 18 this year, at least 18 sacks this year. I think he goes crazy. So expecting a big year from Max. Not that it will help much because I don't have the Raiders win in the play, get in the playoffs, but I do have them finishing second in that division. So, yeah.
The Browns are another team. I know you mentioned Myles Garrett. That's a team. It don't sound too good over there.
It don't at all.
Sound too good over there. I don't know what's going on. It's been a lot of noise with the Deshaun Watson not practicing. His arm looks good. His arm looks like he's a little sore or whatever. They obviously had the Amari Cooper stuff. And then, there was a rumor, I don't think they ever did, but talking about they floated him for Brandon Ayuk after, he wanted a new contract. And I feel like Jim Schwartz always has that 1 year where he just implodes as well. And I just feel like this is just am I lying?
No, you ain't lying.
They have like a bunch of top 5 defense, and then all of a sudden that shit be
fall
cake.
off.
You're like, God damn,
He does.
throw that
That's
bitch up, catching everything. So shit, I don't know. They had some injuries. To start the season, Greg Newsome, I think he just came back off the PUP. They got their guys back, but Nick Chubb too. So
Denzel Ward, he's a kind of if he has another concussion, he might be done. Done. So yeah.
It's a lot of teams that I don't. Everybody's is peaches and cream or whatever the fuck the phrases they have for that, roses, whatever. But I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting season. I'm excited.
I can't wait, man. Shit, week away.
Week 1.
Yeah, we can do our week 1. Yeah. Wait, you did. Let's do coach of the year. Yeah, they want coach of the year.
Yeah, we can do coach of the year. So for my coach of the year, this was tough, but I think it came down to 2 for me. So Nick Sirianni, after a much maligned season, well, actually, I'll say it came down to 3. It came, obviously the top 2 seeds. I think both the Eagles and the Bills were my top 2 seeds. I think both coming off of the seasons that they've had in terms of their coaches having those questions about them, about how they are in the locker room, about their relationship with players in the locker room. I think for them to get 1 seed, they'll be in heavy consideration. But I think it's going to go to Robert Saleh. You have any type of good season, especially after everything that he's had, happen with the defense. If the defense is still able to be, a top 5, top 10 defense, I think people are going to be like, okay, he kind of deserves his just due. Like he held his end of the bargain down, but he just had somebody else that was, can't do nothing with Zach Wilson and freaking, what do they call him? Nat Hackett.
I did have the Jets winning the division, so I feel like just they in New York, and like with all, like you said, all the drama, all the just reckless, crazy stuff coming out of there, and if they do end up being as good as I think they are, I think that a springboard to give Robert Saleh the coach of the year, and that keep him out the hot seat because they have a bad year. He might be out of there, or he gonna be definitely on the hot seat.
There's some coaches to pay attention to that are on the hot seat.
Sure. Yeah, we should. That might be a topic. That might be a topic next week.
We can get into it after. We can get into it.
Oh, you can do it today.
Go ahead, Cass.
My coach of the year came down between my 1 and 2 seeds in the NFC. I personally wanted to pick Raheem, but I'm gonna go Dan Campbell. I think it stems from the offseason that they had, him being able to retain, his coordinators, keep that continuity. That's huge. And I think I had him at a 1 seed in NFC. So I think this is Dan Campbell's year to win it.
Okay. But yeah, in terms of coaches on that hot seat, boy, I do have him in the playoffs, but I think Doug Peterson, we kind of saw something similar with him and Carson Wentz and the Eagles. It started off hot and it fizzled out quickly. And it fizzled out pretty quickly last year. And I know some people try to say, the Jags, he was hurt or Trevor Lawrence was hurt, blah, blah, blah. But nah, y'all was up like 10 against the Titans in the last game and Ryan Tannehill playing. You're not getting that off, my boy. Nah. So I definitely think that he's squarely in the hot seat. And I mean, I think the Bills, McDermott, obviously I have them going to the 1 seed, but if things go,
if they don't,
and then Dennis Allen, I don't think anybody needs to talk about him. I think that is the early Shadur Sanders spot that I don't think he'll be the first overall pick, but I think that I feel like I can see Shadur being the Saints' next quarterback. I mean, unless Spencer Rattler shows something.
Yeah. I had the same kind of thought process. I think Dennis Allen will be the first coach fired. I think he gets fired in season. But low hanging fruit, I'm gonna go with Nick Sirianni. And I kind of talked about it last week, or maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever. But like the Eagles are either going to be top of the division, very good, or bottom out. And I think it's very possible either could happen. I think there are ways this could go wrong. Of course, they brought in 2 new coordinators. If this shit don't sink right, by halfway through the season, I don't see how. I know the fans there are going to be calling for somebody's head, and I think it's going to be Knicks. So I think that seat is hot.
Obvious stuff is like, clearly the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy is obviously on the hot seat. So
Yeah, obviously on the hot seat for sure.
But let me see. Outside of him, I mean, because I just look at it as like, teams that can't afford have a bad season. Like even something as simple as the Bears head coach. He can't have no bad season, honestly. Even if they don't make the playoffs, if you have a 5-win team, I think they kicking them out of there, to be honest with you. Because I mean, their expectation is off the charts at this point by everybody. So I think that for him, he's not on the hot seat, but at the same time, if he have a bad season, he can very well be out of there.
Very possible.
I also think I talked about him a lot, saying they kind of had that black cloud, but I mean, I think Zach Taylor, he's sneaky, somebody that could be on the hot seat because I mean, if everybody's saying what they say about the Bengals ownership, why wouldn't he blow it up?
Right.
It feels like we've got Joe Burrow, we can kind of do. I want to say somebody said Joe Burrow is the only person on the Bengals getting more than like 20 mil, maybe even 15 mil or something like that. Like it's a pretty stark number in terms of how the owner is being cheap. So, it could be something there.
Some changes in Cincinnati, for sure.
Could be something there, but like I said, we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting season. I'm excited. The first game of the season starts a week from tomorrow. Kansas City versus the Baltimore Ravens, and then we get the Friday game, the first Friday opener with the Eagles taking that L against the Packers. What?
Crazy.
Nah, I mean, we gonna see next week when we make our picks. Y'all will be squarely into it. Prime time game. I'm gonna be in LA, so
Ooh, you hear that?
Flex. That's money.
Nah, but that gives us a wrap for the Speak Up Sports Podcast. We will catch y'all next week for the start of the season, man.
Yes, sir.
We here.